Hello, hello, hello. I hope my audio is working. I'm very sorry about the loud music. Let me just drag you guys down here so I don't look like I'm going crazy. Can everyone just confirm that you have audio and everything's kind of working? If that is the case, then I will continue. Right. Where are we at? We at week 11. Week 11 of the podcast. I guess it's technically week 12 because we skipped 1 week due to... I can't remember what we skipped it for now, but we skipped a week. So, week 11. This is the last one before the Austin Major. So we'll do a small pick'ems. I guess we'll do, not small pick'ems, we'll do the entire tournament pick'ems at the end of the show, or towards the end of the show. First things first, we'll jump right in because it's gonna be quite a long topic. I think I haven't had fully time to prepare everything ready for this, so we're just gonna jump right in there. I got shared this tweet. So I just want to clarify. Like, I'm going to be finding this out at the same time as you. Like, I haven't done the calculations yet. We're going to try and figure it out for ourselves to some extent. So this is from Ence's CSGM, I think. And yeah, how can 30 versus 40 net us less points than 21 over 60? So Ence 30, Passions are 43. Ents are meant to be getting plus 13 for their win. And Big are meant to be getting plus 14 over Cybershook. Now, I should clarify, this is live data. This is live points data. I'm going to be working with, well, pretty old data now, like at least the 3.5 weeks old data, but hopefully the general idea will still be the same, so it will not be live to these points. I just want to clarify, do you know what, I'm going to write on my spreadsheet, I'm going to write data is all from 5th May 2025. I'm just going to write that in massive bold letters just because I think that will just help people not get confused. Cool. Alrighty. So yeah, this was the tweet. Very good explanation, by the way, is this response from Finn or Mischief, where he basically says teams can be ranked highly due to different factors. We went over this actually, I think, last week in the show, on this show, where basically, yeah, you have your components that you're bringing to your points, and then you have things that you get from a match, and some of these are constant. So age weight and event weight, that's based on the event, so that will always be the same. But then the prize money that your team offers, the opponent offers, sorry, and the network that your opponent offers can be different, obviously, between each team. And depending on how a team's points are composed will depend on what is available for a team to win in a match. So we'll dive into that in a second. If I close this tab, is it going to... Yeah, back to me. Sweet. So I guess the first thing we should jump into, since we were talking about Ents to begin with, is we will just jump into the data we'll use for Ents. So this is going to be a very boring one, guys. Oh god, these are all the same. Right, this is Ents. This is the data we're going to use. This is outdated data. This is not the current data. They've played many matches since then, and their points are different, but please just bear with me. So this is Ents as of the 5th of May, so the last points update. They had 1,018 points. Yeah. Their points are composed of their bounty collected, their opponent network, their LAN wins, and also their bounty offered, which is at the bottom here. So this is the bounty offered, which is basically the sum of all their prize money, and then multiplied by the the age weight of the event, because it decays over time. And yeah, so you got bounty offered, bounty collected, opponent network, and LAN wins. So bounty offered is quite clearly just the prize money that you have. Bounty collected is essentially the 10 most valuable wins that you have against any opponents. So you can see, like, sometimes, like, for example, this match, they don't get the points from the bounty, but they are getting points from the opponent network, because this team clearly just wasn't worth much in the bounty, but they were worth it in the opponent network. And the reverse here, Saw weren't worth it in the network, but they were worth it in the bounty. So it's the 10 most valuable components of each pillar. We'll call these pillars. And then divided by 10, and then there's a scaling function that happens, which for bounty collected is this one, I believe. I can't remember exactly which scaling. I've got it in the spreadsheet. You'll see it in a second. And then opponent network is the same thing. So 10 most valuable opponents that you've played, and that is dependent on how many opponents they've beaten, and the value of the opponents that they've beaten will determine a team's opponent network. LAN wins is actually the most simple of it all. It's a 1 or a 0. If you beat the team on LAN, that's a 1. If you beat the team on online, it's a 0. So those are the 4 components that make up a team's points. But when you win points from an opponent, only these 2 matter. These are the only 2 things that matter from the opponent, and technically the head-to-head adjustment afterwards. But for the purposes of this, we're just going to ignore the head-to-head adjustment. This is purely going to be about the bounty collected in the opponent network. So let's keep jumping in. Welcome to my spreadsheet. Actually, do you know what? Before we go to this one, let's go to this one. So you guys may have seen this come out recently. HLTV have been working on it for a little while. So this shows the live ranking VRS from HLTV's perspective after an event. And you may notice that my spreadsheet looks oddly similar. That's because I'm 99% sure I showed my spreadsheet to them and they went, "That's a great idea, let's copy that." Which is completely fine, and I got the idea from someone else, so it's not my idea. I'm just pretty sure that's the timeline of events. So there is one caveat to their spreadsheet, is they are missing a column. So what they've done is they've spread those points out across the other 4 columns to make it simpler for everyone else. But yeah, essentially this shows like the raw points, because seeing like decimal points makes no sense, right? It doesn't really give you an idea of like what the value is. So they're showing raw points, which is very good for the average user, which is great. So this is the original version of that. So you'll notice up here, this is where we start. So start here. So this is the column that they're missing, which is the base points. So all teams start with 400 base points. That's one thing that should be clarified straight away, is all teams start with 400 base points. In HLTV's case, they copied the base points across. So they basically put like 100, 100, 100, 100, which does work, but doesn't really work, but it's easier for everyone else to understand. So these are the decimal points that you guys would have seen on the ENTS page. So if we just quickly jump back to ENTS, there's going to be a lot of chopping and changing on this one, I think. I'm just going to leave it all full screen. So if we go back to the ENTS tab, you'll see they had 0.567, 0.430, 0.343, and 0. So you'll notice that says the same here. 0.567, 0.430, 0.343. So these are copied across, basically, 1 to 1. So with that in mind, you can now see all the points for the 4 teams that were involved in the screenshot that the ENTS GM sent. And then I've done the same thing here, where I've converted the decimal points into the actual points. So this is the conversion, basically, down here. And you'll note, like, I should clarify, there is like some tiny like decimal point issues with the calculations due to some math issues with the way things are calculated, how many decimal points things are calculated for. So the numbers are not like exactly, they're usually like within like 0.1 or 0.2 away from each other. So yeah, just to be clear, the math is correct. It's just some weird decimal point issues and calculation issues. Sometimes dependent on how Valve send the data and how Valve display the data versus how it's calculated raw. But just trust me, they're close enough that it doesn't matter. So I've also had to go to the trouble of, let's just set that up there, filling in their buckets. So this is the same data that you just saw on the page for let's say like ENTS. So this is the LAN bucket, this is the bounty collected bucket, and this is the network bucket. And those are basically the 10 most valuable point scoring matches that they've got. I haven't listed the matches, but these are the 10 most valuable. I think I sorted them, or I did try to sort them mostly by value low to high, just because it reads a bit easier that way for me. Let me just double check those are all done. That looks good. That one doesn't. Cool. So let's dive in there. So a simple way to like look at this would be if we take, for example, Passion UA, and let's say their LAN wins is equal to their LAN wins here. So you can see they've got 0 points here, and that means 0 points in LAN wins. This is their value. If we give them 1 LAN win here, their LAN wins goes up by a little bit more than 1 because of the scaling. You see here there's scaling. So it gets scaled from this to this, and then they get this, and then 1 LAN win is 48.349 whatever points. That's the amount of points that you get for 1 LAN win. And again, I should clarify, this is only relevant to the exact moment I took these points on the 5th of May. Mischief, can you explain your question quickly? Hold on, I'm just going to throw it up there just so I can read it again. This is for comparing why one team is more valuable than the other. Is opponent network technically wrong? You're going to have to explain. Again, I should clarify, I'm not trying to do like an in-depth exact points to points thing. I'm just trying to explain most of the differences. So yeah, we could do the same thing, for example, with the bounty collected. If we set the bounty collected for, let's do Passion again, to be equal to this number here, and then increase this one by 1, their points will recalculate and go up. Pretty simple. Yes, Mischief, you are right. Your opponent offers their own network, not their opponent network. Yes, you are correct. We're going to try and keep this simple for everyone. Or at least mostly simple. But yes, the reason I'm using old, outdated data is because without doing, essentially, without breaking HLTV's terms and conditions about scraping data from their website, it's essentially not allowed to actually calculate this for yourself. You could use alternative data sets. I know there might be one maintained on Liquipedia, or a vaguely recent one maintained on Liquipedia using Liquipedia's data, but then it wouldn't be the official data and it would have extra matches. So we're just going to try and do what we can with with what we have available. This is mostly demonstration. It's not for like calculating exact points. Even if the points are wrong, it will still make sense when you see it. So let's say we wanted to, this is wrong. 1 second. I know for a fact that number is wrong, so I'm just going to correct it quickly because it's actually this number. Oh, there we go. That's better. Although oddly, nothing is actually using that number right now from the looks of it, which is a bit concerning, but that number was wrong. Cool. So we can compare all the teams. One thing you'll notice here is that Big have a lot of their points. A lot of Big's points come from LAN wins. So if we were to just like get rid of their LAN wins all of a sudden, you know, if we put them essentially in the same position as the other 3 teams where they had no access to LAN events, Big would drop down quite significantly, right? So that's an interesting point. Obviously, they have the LAN wins. So yeah, they're a good little example of having a team that, for this specific comparison, for a team that when you beat them, because you don't gain the value of their LAN wins, they're essentially worth less points, right? So that, I think that's a good observation to make. Now, let's see. Where should we... don't need that. Where should we start? So, so you play against another team and you win a match. And let's say the match was more valuable than the last match you played. So if you see here, like all these teams have bounty collected, and you'll notice they're sorted low to high. So these are the least valuable bounties that they've collected, and these are the most valuable bounties they collected. So you can see Cybershoke, they're all pretty close, like 0.03 to 0.32, very, very close, which is why their value is so low. And then obviously some of them are slightly higher, and yeah, they all get scaled up to these bigger numbers anyway, so it's not too, doesn't seem too big in the end. But let's say, like, for example, we gave a 1 to everyone. So if we take these numbers here and just put them down here, and then we gave 1 to everyone, and then take these numbers again, and then we could just do sum of that minus that, you'll notice that everyone will get, well, what's happened there? Are these not numbers? They're all numbers. Why are they not calculating? Huh? Oh, I know why. Bear with me for a second. It's because, where are we? I updated Passion, but I didn't update Big, did I? So Big's, what is it? Big's bounty collected is this one. Ence's is this one. And Cybershoke's is this one. There we go. Now we actually have this. Oh, we should have this calculated properly, right? These have updated. Yeah, so we just need to copy these now. Sweet, right. Didn't have much time to prepare for this, guys. Do have a real job on the side. So you can see here the difference. So each team, just from having a different value win, gets completely different points. And that's not necessarily related to the value that they have themselves. Well, it is related to the value they have themselves, but mostly it's related to the increase in value from the original points they had. So I can't remember exactly what they were, and I'm going to have to press Control Z to go back to it. Let me just go back and grab those numbers quickly, just so I can put them back in afterwards. I'm not going to be able to do that, am I? That's annoying as hell. Oh, I could just do one ticket, can't I? Yeah, so now I need to make these all equal to the numbers again. Should have done this earlier, but had things to do. Very sorry for the demonstration. I'm doing it live. So yeah, if we then put all these ones in here and increase their points by 1, essentially, you'll see the difference. Let's just do it the other way around because we're increasing. Cool. So you can see that each team gains a different amount of points based on the increase of the win they're basically getting. So if you're higher up the rankings, which all these teams, as far as I'm aware, are higher up the rankings now than they were when I took this data, the chances of them increasing their lowest value win by a significant amount is lower potentially. So like, let's say you've played like a lot of very recent decent matches, but they're not like super good, then your potential to increase it is actually going to be smaller. Whereas if for example, like, I mean, let's try and make a fake scenario here. So let's give Big. So we need to get to 0.062. So let's just do like some weird stuff here where these are all worth like fuck all, and then this is worth a decent amount. Okay. So before this, Big was which team? Big was this team here, right? So they gained 47 points from this win. But that was when their match was worth more points. Now, they technically... That hasn't gone right, has it? Oh, it's because it's meant to be that. No. There we go. So technically now they have the same scale as they had before. They have 0.062, and their points is 182.88, which is slightly more than what they had. But let's just assume it. Actually, tell you what, let's just do a new calculation. So it's about the same. And now let's give them that extra 1 win. Now their points goes to 1230. And if we do that minus that, they got a decrease in the value of points somehow. Is that just because this is higher? Yeah, I mean, I think it's because their points is technically higher, but essentially, because they would be increasing their overall by a bigger amount, they would gain more value from that win, potentially. So the gap basically between the old value you're overwriting and the new value is the significance that makes the difference here. Does that make sense? I've explained it really badly and I used a bad example, but essentially the gap is the issue here. So when you play a different opponent, because the opponents can be worth different amounts in these points, you potentially you gain different amounts from different opponents. So if you like, even though let's say like Ents here are rated pretty much, actually hon, they're not a good example. Who's the best example? Is it big? So bounty offered here. So this is no, there's not. These four teams are really bad examples. But essentially, if a team, for example, has like extremely high LAN wins and has a very high ranking because of their LAN wins, but then you beat them and their bounty offered is lower, then you're not going to gain as many points because you don't gain the points from the LAN wins. You only gain the points from the bounty offered and the opponent network or the team's own network. Does that make any sense? I feel like I'm running in circles here because I should have prepared this with some good examples. Perhaps these four teams were not the best. Let me see if I can see any teams that are very obviously good examples. Finn, do you know of any teams that have like really weird bounties and like networks? Yeah, the stakes can change. I mean, I guess we can explain the stakes modifier quickly to some degree. Which tab am I sharing? I'm sharing my tab, right? Okay, cool. Where are we? So, yeah, I guess everyone knows that the event weighting, the stakes modifier for the most part is based on the is based on the prize money. And that's scaled as well. So like $0 prize money is actually worth, I think it's 0.143, and then $1 million is worth 1, and then everything scales between those two numbers basically. And that will also affect. I mean, I think these two matches from that original example, I think they were both in the same. I think they were both in the same tournament, so that wouldn't affect that part of the tournament at least. Can anyone confirm? Big Cybershock and Ents Passion, were they in the same tournament? Was it CCT they were in? What tournament was it, guys? Do we know? Has it just finished? Is it CCT Season 2? Cybershock... Cybershock didn't play any of those teams. What tournament was it in? Or was it in the same tournament? Oh, it's Galaxy Battle. It's Galaxy Battle, I think. Do we know what number Galaxy Battle it was? Why are none of the Galaxy Battle tournaments on Wikipedia linked up together? Hold on. Galaxy Battle 2025 Phase 2. Right, here we go. So, are these both in the same tournament? Cybershock didn't play against Big. Okay, Ents played Passion and Big and Cybershock played. Yeah, so it's from the same tournament. So they have the same stakes modifier. So that's counted the same. So what has changed in these teams' points? They're very closely ranked. So did Cybershock just gain a ton of points in... I'm not even sure. their example. It's so hard to figure out their example when we don't have the live data exactly. But oh god, where are we? This has been a bit of a disaster. We might have to restart this next week if we can't figure out exactly what the issue was. I'm going to be really disappointed if we can't. But my guess would be pretty solidly that the reason that Big get more points for beating Cybershock in this example would be related to, did Cybershock win any events recently? That would be one thing to check. Do they have a pretty big what do you call it, bounty collected or bounty offered? So they don't look to have won any prize money recently, so it can't be that. Have they beaten lots of teams recently? Oh, they've played a lot of matches since the 5th of May. How many have they won? 1, 2. I mean, they've definitely increased their opponent network quite a bit, but I don't think they've increased it by that much. But there is a good chance that Ents themselves, there's a good chance that Ents' network is super high. Yeah, I've completely lost it, Finn. I'm not gonna lie. Go through what? Where are you, Finn? Why are you even watching this? Are you on vacation? Are you going? Aren't you going skiing or something? No, not skiing. Where are you? Oh, this has become a disaster. We might just have to switch and come back later. Yeah, I know the clamps change, but the clamps aren't super relevant to this example. The clamps aren't super relevant to this example because all we're trying to do is explain how you can earn different amounts of points from different opponents. That's the main thing, based on their bounty offered and their opponent and their own network. That's the main thing we're trying to explain. I've done it really poorly because my examples have worked out terribly. I thought there would be a very obvious example with these four teams and their data, so that's all I prepared, and it hasn't worked out very well for me. So yeah, I mean, some of these numbers must have changed in recent weeks to have it make sense. Let's just give up on this for now, because I want to do it properly when I have time to prepare it properly. And there's going to be a VRS update but by next week there'll be a VRS update, which means when we're in Austin next week, we'll have basically live data. That will make a ton more sense. And you know what? Then we can actually go in and look at the matches themselves and see the value they got out of them, and we can explain it. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to jump back into this next week when we can actually prepare for it. So with that in mind, we're going to do it properly next week. We're going to now jump into what we're going to call... Oh, I need to reset that. Let's reset that. Right, cool. I'm going to use Blast's own website just because I can, and it worked the last time I did it. Let's go. Pick'ems. So we're going to simulate everything, and then, at least for the stage 1, I will do it so we have oh no, hello, there we go, that one. But then I want the other source. Hello, can I have that? No, that's not what I wanted. That's kind of what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Sweet. All right, we're going to do this week, and then next week we'll come back with the real live-ish data, and we'll do it properly. Right. So I promised myself that I would do this how I feel the matches will actually go, which means that, like, if I think OG will beat us, I will put OG beating us. Okay? That's what I said I'd do, and that's what I will do. So, One second, just got to respond to something. Cool. So, reset. Now, hello JBA. I assume that is the real JBA, Wildcard J. I have no idea if that's your actual Twitch account. I'm not on Twitch, so I can't tell, but I assume that is you. Are you JBA or are you Jaber? So, either. All right. I believe in us. J-B. I believe in heroic. This is Chinggis Warriors, right? Yeah. B8 versus Imperial. Oh, I'm going to upset a lot of Brazilians here, aren't I, if I do this? But I do think that B8 have been on a pretty good run of form recently, and I think they can beat Imperial. What are you doing in here, JBH? Wait, you guys, you're in Europe, right? Oh, you probably just finished scrims then? When do you fly back to Austin? Or to... Yeah, you fly to Austin, I assume, straight. When do you fly? Betboom versus Nemiga. Betboom versus Nemiga. I have no idea how Betboom have been playing recently. You fly back on the 31st. That's the same day I'm flying. You guys not worried about jet lag? I know jet lag is easier going that way, but are you guys not a little bit concerned? So, jumping over to Betboom quickly because I want to see how they've been playing recently. So they were on a pretty good run of form. They obviously played the Yellow Compass that we played. They didn't play the Yellow Compass finals, but they did play CCT. I mean, let's just try and see if they've got any decent matches in there. So they were playing well, but they haven't played a top 30 team in over a month now. And they haven't played a top 30 team in over a month, and they've lost 3 games. I mean, Ecstatic are good. Like, Ecstatic are probably underrated, like, right now for their rank. I think they just made it into the top 30 of VRS. So, yeah, I have a feeling that I'd probably go for Betboom in this game. But I'm just gonna see how Nemiga have been playing as well. Nemiga have played similar amounts of matches, actually. And I'm going to take Betboom. My heart says Betboom. This is the first one that's going to be controversial, isn't it? NRG versus Tyloo in a best of one. These are all best of ones. So this is like upset city. Like anything can truly happen in these games. Like lose 2 pistols, bam. But I think Tyloo will take this one. I think Tyloo looked really good when was it Pro League they played? I think it was Pro League they played. They also they just won the ACL event, the Asian Champions League thing, where they beat FlyQuest twice, which I think is pretty impressive. And they beat like Rare Adam, Lin Vision, all the usual suspects. So I think Tyloo. I think Legacy will beat Lin Vision. I think Legacy's seed is probably fair, but probably underrates them a little bit. I think Legacy are probably better than some of these teams as well. Like Chinggis Warriors, for example, are like obviously overseeded, like due to some Asian events. I think that's pretty clear. So I'm gonna get abused by Mongolians for that, but definitely I think overrated compared to where they should be. So yeah, I think Legacy. Oh, here we go. Do you know what? Yeah, we've played Legacy in some scrims. They've been shooting pretty good. They've been playing quite well. So I think Legacy will beat Lin Vision for sure. I'm going to do Fluxo versus FlyQuest now because I'm going to skip. I'm dubbing this the Battle of the Twins. I was like that was actually the best thing. Okay, we can get to the best year thing later because that's a whole thing, but and it's very sad, but it's a whole thing. But this was the best thing that came out of the best year to legacy replacement is the seeds changed and this happened. So Fluxo led by Art with Kai, Zevi. I mean, honestly, like I don't recognize those other two guys. I mean, Fluxo looked like they've been playing quite well recently. I still think FlyQuest. And oh, this is going to affect every other matchup. Every other matchup. Yeah, you are correct. Essentially, the best thing you can do for adjusting to jet lag is to wake up when you should wake up, try and go to bed when you should go to bed, like trying to like force yourself to see natural light when you should wait when you wake up. Like when you wake up, don't just like sit in a dark bedroom and sort of chill around. Like go outside, get a walk, like just try and adjust your body as quick as possible. That's the way that I find it best to do it. And yeah, eating meals at the right time is the best thing you can do, but it's not always easy when you like get served meals on a plane and you have no choice. So, okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you guys haven't looked that good recently. Like you guys haven't looked that good. Like I'm gonna be honest but fair, and I think you would say the same. You haven't looked that good. I think you've looked better. So, yeah, you beat Pain at Blast. Okay, you lost to Legacy. No wonder you said Legacy have been playing really good. You just lost to them like a week ago. Yeah, you did what you had to do in the qualifier. Lost to Bet Boom. You got 13-0'd by Bet Boom. When did that happen? Oh, we were in Melbourne. Or we were traveling to and from Melbourne. That's why I missed that. Sorry, I'm looking at this tab right now. Oh, that was the Stanislaw 002 game. Okay. Sorry, I'm not doing that just shit on you. I genuinely missed that. I'm pretty sure we were traveling to Melbourne during that time. So I'm going to excuse myself for not remembering that happened. Yeah, it was in the middle of Melbourne, so that's exactly why I didn't know that happened, or didn't recall it immediately. Yeah, we were traveling. It was the day we traveled back from Melbourne, so I missed that completely. Okay, so you beat 500. But that's online, right? So that's good. That's online. That's legit, right? You lost a heroic, lost a vitality, beat Pain. Okay. Who are these guys? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, let's have a look. I'm actually curious. I have Metasport. We obviously played Metasport. They gave us the best game that we had at this qualifier. We went to OT on Anubis. This was a really tough game. Is that all the games they've played since we played them? Like that is really like. They've played 2 games in May. They lost them both. They lost to Alliance in the Sven. Okay, right. Wildcard. I'm putting Wildcard through. I've seen enough. I'm putting Wildcard through. Right. Okay. Let's knock off some easy ones for me. I think NRG beat Chinggis Warriors. I think for me, that's a pretty easy one. I mean, I guess OG must beat Metasport if I put Wildcard beating Metasport. I think Tyloo beat Betboom. I think Heroic beat FlyQuest. And now it gets a bit closer. Lin Vision versus Fluxo. Like, Lin Vision is always so hard to guess because they'll just come out and they'll just play some wacky Chinese CS and go like super close against really good teams, and then they'll be terrible or like lose to local teams as well. Like Lin Vision were on like a what the crap? How 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 19, 20, 20. They were on a 21 series win streak. I mean, I know the teams are not, are not the highest quality, but that's still a pretty legit win streak. Damn. I mean, like, they're putting up decent round numbers against, like, some of the best teams. Where do you put Lin Vision? Like, honestly. Do they beat Fluxo? Because, like, Fluxo are kind of the same in Asia, right? In South America right now, where they've just beaten a lot of, like, the sort of sub-top Brazilian teams. But, like, they lose to Imperial, who are one of the better ones. They lose to Imperial, but then they're beating, I mean, Audic are decent. They're beating Audic consistently. But, like, losing to Solid, then beating Solid, Shark, like, they beat Bestia, actually. I think that... I think Lin Vision will play some wacky best of one CS. I think Lin Vision will beat Fluxo. I think Imperial will beat Nemiga. I think Imperial have been playing quite well from what I've seen in the scrims. So I'm going to give Imperial the nod there. And then it comes down to our games, JBA. So are you going to beat B8? You were vouching for B8 earlier. You said B8 were really good. And I am inclined to agree that they've been playing pretty good. They've been playing against some decent teams. They beat Paravision in a best of 5. And that's not bad. They did decent at the Nomadic Masters, although they did only beat Asia teams. They lost to Big twice. Beat Chinggis Warriors, Asia team. Beat Zero Tenacity online. That's pretty big. They had a good CCT. I'm sorry, but I don't think your form has done enough to dissuade me right now. And I I think we will beat Legacy at a best of 1. I do think Heroic might beat us in a best of 3, though. I actually think Tyloo would win in a best of 3 against B8. I think Legacy would beat NRG. I think Bet Boom would beat Lin Vision. I definitely think that can happen. Fluxo will beat Chinggis. And Metasport will beat Nemiga. So I'm getting Chinggis Warriors and Nemiga as my first 0-3s. Next. Oh no. Sorry, there's another team to go in there still, so it won't be... Oh no, yeah, it's 100% guaranteed that we're playing against each other. There you go. We'll see you in the 2-1 games. I mean, I definitely think we can win this game. Like, if we play Heroic, I think we can beat them. But I would give them the edge right now because we're playing with a sub and they're in really good form. If we weren't playing with the sub, I would have 100% pass. But with the sub, I think we just have to be, a bit humble, let's say. I don't think I'm underestimating Nemiga. I just think they're just playing against teams that are like just better than them. Like in every single bracket, I think they're just playing against teams that are like a little bit better than them. So FlyQuest and OG, I think FlyQuest have got a little bit more experience, and I think the OG guys, they might have a little bit of like crumble in them somehow. Some of them, just a guess. I'm having a guess. I think OG are good. Like, I genuinely think OG are good, but I just think FlyQuest will have that little edge. All right. Legacy versus B8. FlyQuest, Bet Boom. Okay, I'm taking OG over them. Oh, no. NA versus SA for elimination. NRG versus Imperial. I think I'm going to go Imperial. I think I'm going to go Imperial. Lin Vision, Metasport. Some of these are really tough, you know. Some of these are really, really tough. You know, I'm going to do it. I think Legacy can beat B8. I think FlyQuest can beat BetBoom. I really want to click Metasport, but just like betting against Lin Vision just feels so wrong. But I'm going to do Metasport. And I think we can beat you, Josh. I'm sorry. You guys just haven't shown me enough. Just haven't quite shown me enough recently to believe in you. But do you know what? I'll believe in you there. So you're going through. I think B8 beat Metasport, and I think OG beat Imperial. Oh, actually, I don't know. Imperial. I think Imperial have been playing really well recently. I think they finally like figured out things for themselves. But I don't know. What do you guys think, guys? Do you think we should go OG or Imperial? I think it is going to have to be... Oh, this is tough. I think Imperial. I think Imperial are going to do it. All right, so my teams advancing are Tyloo, Heroic, Complexity, FlyQuest, Legacy, B8, Wildcard, Imperial. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Americas teams, 2 Asia teams, and 2 European teams. That would be a perfect situation, actually. That would be good. All right, stage 2. It precedes everything. So Falcons versus Tyloo, done. These guys just played twice, right? Or once? Heroic and FaZe just played, right? Yeah, they just played at Dallas, and Heroic won. I don't necessarily think they should have won, and also they were playing with Skulls, right? Yeah, I think FaZe. I think VP will beat FlyQuest. Do you know what? I actually think Legacy will beat Pain. I think Fury will beat B8. I think Wildcard actually, like, there's a lot of like America's teams down here. Like this is interesting. As a side note, going 3-1 in stage 1, going 3-2 actually might be better, because like if you go 3-0, like these guys, you just end up playing against fucking Falcons and FaZe. Like going 3-0 is actually a curse. Like, why would you want to do that? It's horrible. It's way better to go down here. I mean, obviously, like, you're playing a bit of a seeding lottery, because I think Fury are much better than Mibber and M80 right now. But you could get some decent matchups there if you could avoid these two. I think 3D Max will probably beat us, and I actually think Imperial will beat M80 in a best of 1 opening match. Yeah, so screw it. I think so. Then Falcons will beat Imperial. So to explain, how does that seeding happen? So the seeding is always seed 1 versus seed 9. The reason for that, and I've done some examples of this on Twitter many, many years ago, which got it changed, is because if you seed 1 versus 16, like how you do it in a normal single elimination bracket or elimination bracket, when you get to the final like 2-2 matches, it would end up that like if every single team that was the highest seeded team like always won their matches, then the teams who are seeded like 7th and 8th wouldn't actually advance. Like it would be like 1 to 6 and then like 10 and 12, because all the matches because like the matches in the middle to start off the bracket would be 8 versus 9 and 8 versus 9 and like 7 versus 10 and 6 versus 11. And those matches are needed at the end to decide the final progressions, but because they've already been used up and we have in Swiss you can't replay a match, it basically just means that the best 8 teams, even if they won all their matches, couldn't advance, which is a bit fucked up. So this preserves that in a better way, but it does mean that there's some potentially harder matches in the opening matches. But because, for example, like because Tai Lu play against Falcons here, they would, when they drop down, which they do to here, they have a slightly higher seed in this, but they also gain from the book alts. You see here, they'll gain from Falcons book alts. So if Falcons just keep on winning, then Tai Lu will keep getting a better seed in later matches. So yeah, that's the reason why. Okay. Round 2. I don't know if I'm just massively overvaluing Legacy right now, but I do like them, but I think 3D Max will probably win that. I think Fury will beat VP. I think B8 versus Pain. Yeah. FlyQuest Mibba. I'm going for FlyQuest. And I'll take... This is so crazy. This is literally seeds, like 8... This is these 2 seeds facing off in the first game. Because of the upsets. Because I've got these upsets in there, they end up being seed 4 and 5. Because this would be seed 1, 2, and 3. This would be seed 1, 2, and 3 of the lower bracket here. So seed 1, seed 2, seed 3. So then this is seed 4, 5. So they play against each other. And then we're seed 6, so we play against seed 3. Like, that would be kind of messed up if that happens. I think Heroic, and I think we will be M80. Why does Cole play Heroic if both go 2-0? We can investigate that. So, because of this upset, basically. So, you can see our book alts will be 0 in this case. After beating Legacy, but then, because Legacy go down here, they go 0. They go 0. They go -2, but then I think these are probably 0 and 0 as well. So we're the highest seed. So there's 3 teams with 0 book alts in this example. So Tai Lu have 0, B8 have 0, and we have 0. So then it falls back to initial seed. We were seed 1, initial seed. You can see here. So we would automatically be seeded the highest of the 0 seeded teams. So it would be seed 1, seed 2, C3, which leaves Heroic as seed 4 because they played against teams who I've predicted to go worse than before. So because I'm predicting Chinggis to be so bad, essentially, when they should be good, right? You know, this is the issue with having like one bad seed. Inaccurate seeding fucks Swiss so bad because Chinggis Warriors, in theory, should be the second highest low seed, but because I actually think they should be like down here somewhere. If they lose all their matches, they don't perform how they should perform. Like OG and Imperial, I think should perform pretty well. So I have them going through. Actually, both of them, I think. Or did I? No, I put Metasport, put Imperial for over OG in the end. But my point is that they should be both pretty good performing low seeds. So beating them should be an advantage for you in the later stages. But because Chinggis, I think, are there when they shouldn't be, they don't benefit Heroic in any way. So you can see here they give them a -2 book alts, which puts them as the lowest seed going into the final round. Anyway. Yeah, I think we will be M80. I'll put it there. So, next round. Oh, this is rough. This is rough down here. Oh, we'd have to play again. Well, if we beat you once, I think we can beat you twice. I think Heroic can beat FlyQuest. I think VP will beat Imperial. And did B8 and Legacy play in the first round as well? Did I put them? Yeah, I did. I put Legacy through the first time, so I guess I'll just keep copying that. So Legacy go through again. I think Falcons will beat FaZe, and I actually think that Fury will beat 3D Max. And I think M80. God, Jesus, how did Tai Lu go from? It's because of the seeds, right? It's like, how do they go from being the best team in the first stage to potentially going out 0-3 the next stage? I think I just think Pain are struggling right now. I don't know what to say. Like, I don't know quite what's going on with Pain, but I don't get the feeling they're in the best place. I know they've made some roster changes, and I know they've been playing with the sub, and I know that DGT hopefully has now had some time to settle in, but I just think MIBR are better than Pain right now. And they actually just played. They just played in Astana, right? So we'll have to see how it goes, but yeah, MIBR over Pain, and Yeah, I worry for M80 actually in that game. If that happens, like getting upset, if they get upset by us and Imperial, I think they'll lose to Tyloo. I mean, this might be a very wild run for M80. It's probably unrealistic, but I'm putting it through. Next up, Heroic versus 3D Max. I think 3D Max will win that. I think FaZe will beat us. And I think VP probably beat Legacy. I think Tyloo beat MOBR. I think FlyQuest beat Imperial. Did they play in the first week? No, they didn't. So I can do that. Yeah, I think FlyQuest is going to beat Imperial. And did B8 and Wildcard play them? They did. I put B8 through. Oh, if I have to be consistent, I have to put B8 through as well. Man, this is brutal. Holy fuck. NA. Oh, SA, NA, SA, NA, SA. I've just killed America. Holy fuck. Oh, man. I feel bad now. Well, the show has to go on. Heroic, I think, beat B8. Legacy FlyQuest. Do you know what? I think Legacy can beat FlyQuest. I might be massively overvaluing Legacy here, but I just have a feeling I feel like they've got like some divine intervention or something. I feel like they're just going to do really well. And us versus Tyloo, all on the line. Oh, it's tough. It's tough. But I'm gonna say us for the first time ever. All right. Holy fuck. That's a big game. Jesus. Okay. Vitality. I think that one's pretty simple for me. I think Mongols over VP is pretty simple. I think Na'Vi over Legacy. I think Liquid probably beat us. I think FaZe could beat G2. I think Spirit beat 3D Max. I think a warmed up Heroic. I think a warmed up Heroic beats Aurora, and I think Falcons beat Mouse in a best of one. I mean, I'm just gonna put Vitality through, make it easy for myself. Jesus Christ, Falcons would have a horrible run if they finish 3-0. They have to play against either Vitality or Mouse, basically on a coin flip, and then if they get through the next stage, they basically have to play Spirit or Vitality or Mongols. Like, it's tough. Falcons and Na'Vi. I think Mouse beat us. I think that's fair. G2 I think can beat Legacy, even though they're not going to be at full strength. I think Aurora can beat VP, and I think Furia can beat 3D Max. Let's just put them through. That is like a huge coin flip, but I think Falcons are a form team. I think they'll beat Spirit. I think Aurora, Heroic, Mouse, Mongols. I think that's where our major ends. I think 3D Max are pretty good, and I think VP will probably put down Legacy. 0-3 in the Legend stage. That's that's where I put us. I might be slightly overestimating us a little bit. Like, some of these matches are very big, like 50-50s. You know, like, I mean, we lost to 3D Max there, so that's the same. I copied it. Like, M80 versus us is always a 50-50. Us versus Wildcard happening twice is... I mean, technically, I don't think we've ever lost a Wildcard, so that's not actually a 50-50, but I think it will be a close game. Like, even beating Legacy and OG is already tough, so if we get that far, I'll be happy. But let's continue on. I think Na'Vi beat Heroic. I think Spirit beat Aurora. I think... This is group stage Mals versus group stage Mongols, and group stage Aurora. Actually, this this could be anything. It's a best of 3. I think Mouse. I think Furia, FaZe, VP. Damn, Mongols or FaZe for the playoffs. Now, the question is, how much better do I think FaZe are going to be after having had some time with Simple and having Rain back? I think Mongols will take it. I think VP will beat Heroic, and I think Aurora put down Furia at the last second. It's getting much easier to go through these now. Okay, well, let's just get this done easily. Aurora in playoffs don't win matches. Mongols also don't win matches unless it's against Aurora. I think Mao's beat Na'Vi, and I think Falcon's there. I think they're... There we go. That is my pick'ems done. It's a bit wild. It's probably going to be nothing close to what I predicted. But I can always look back on it and see if any of these actually happened. There's definitely some stretches in there, some gut feelings. Like my gut feeling that Pain are just going to be bad for some reason, and that Legacy are going to be good, maybe bite me in the ass. I don't know. But I'm also kind of massively betting that Heroic are going to have like a Cinderella run because they just don't care, and they're gonna. I mean, they're not going to get all the way through, but I think they're going to be pretty good. I think I've potentially overrated, or maybe underrated OG and like overrated like Imperial here. Like the Americas teams feel like they've been overrated here and then just massively underrated in this one. So we will have to see how that goes. Guys, feel free to start throwing out questions for like an AMA. Just like if you've got any questions, throw them out and we will try and answer them. Still going to try and go through the VRS when it comes to next week on answering those questions, because I think once we get the updated data and we can actually see what happened, it'll be much easier to explain. So I'm not going to let people down on that one. And let's throw out any questions if you've got any. Otherwise, we will just end the stream here because there's no need to stay up super late for me unless I have to. Yeah. How is Cole practice going? Is it looking good? So I should clarify that JT only flew into the US on Monday, and he got delayed because of weather in Dallas, so he got stuck in Austin for an extra day. So he arrived yesterday at the boot camp location, or the boot camp location we're going to call it. And yeah, the practice has been going really well, actually. I'm really happy we made the decision to stay in NA for the practice. When the teams started arriving for Dallas, we got like really good scrims against like all the teams who were preparing for Dallas on their media day and on their off days. So like we were playing like Vitality, like after they qualified for like the playoffs and the semifinals directly, they had a day off. So we played like Vitality on some days. We played actually I don't want to name all the teams because that's not really fair, but like we played against some really good European teams basically all of last week, and even the week before that we had like the top NA teams were mostly in NA, and we also had some of the good Brazilian teams were also in NA, like preparing for Dallas and things like that. So yeah, we've had really good scrims. It's not like starting again, but like having a different AWPer come in and try and replicate your old AWPer is quite tough. So, nothing's been perfect, and JT's been on 130 ping. I don't know if you've tried to hold angles in this game, but it's very hard. Trying to hold angles on 130 ping against pros is extremely hard. So you can just imagine JT like playing E-Box on Anubis on CT side, like he's like jiggling, trying to like wait for the guys to peek and then just dead. So it's bit unfortunate that he's not been on a high ping, but it works out most of the time. But obviously when we start playing against like top level teams, like the teams in Dallas, not so easy. It's fine against NA teams for the most part, but yeah, he's in NA now, so he's been playing yesterday and today on good ping, which is useful for us for sure. really, really good teams this week, and what do you say? Really good teams scrimming against. Like I know that like FaZe have stayed, Falcons have stayed. I know that some teams are flying in as well. I think Lin Vision are already in North America, so they're practicing in North America. Yeah, still got the top NA teams apart from Wildcard who are flying back later. So yeah, got some really good teams in North America right now. So the practice is going well, and yeah, we're playing well. Like it's hard to like scrims are not a very good judge of how well how well you're going to perform in a match because you don't know what your opponent's trying to practice while you're trying to practice something else. So it's kind of a guesswork really. But for the most part, we are playing well and we're performing well, which is I guess all that needs to be said really. We'll find out how we're doing when we get there next week really. But for the most part, doing pretty good. This is a good question. Has there been any rumblings among org about contender stickers being 16 teams now? I assume that will cut your sticker revenue in half. So, yes and no. So, yes, this is the first time there's ever been... Oh, sorry. This is the first time there's ever been 16 teams in a capsule, which is new. And yes, technically... the percentage we get of the capsule is halved. So I think we used to get... I'm not sure I can say the percentages. We used to get a certain percentage of the capsule, and every single team within the capsule got the same percentage. That number is halved. So yes, we get half the amount of the sales, but because there's double the amount of teams... And I don't think that this logic is the way it will work. I do think we will end up getting less money. But I think overall we might get more than we got for Shanghai. Shanghai, just for the record, was like the worst stickers in 6 years. Like the worst stickers since like StarLadder 2019. So Shanghai was terrible. I do think this major will be better than Shanghai, but I don't think it's going to get back to the levels of like Antwerp, Stockholm, that kind of era. So it's hard to tell. Right now, the sticker sales are going decently. Like we're not upset. We're not like upset by them, but then they've been better, but they've also been worse. So we don't know is the honest answer. But technically the percentage we earn from the capsule is halved, but if I don't think it works entirely that way because logically the additional 8 teams who didn't play the major before, who wouldn't have played the major before, are logically less well liked, not going to perform as well, so they logically should not drive as many sales as before. So yeah, I think realistically, it won't increase the overall amount of money we get, but because I think this major will just be more popular than Shanghai, I think we'll probably end up okay. I think the more concerning part is the viewer pass and the souvenir tokens. Those are shared amongst all 24 teams, which is now all 32 teams. And again, if you apply the logic that adding 8 extra teams isn't going to increase the value by 33%, which is the increase in teams, so 24 divided by 8 is 33. It's a 33% increase in teams, but are you going to get a 33% increase in sales from essentially again the 8 least popular teams? Are people going to be buying, are we going to get it's a viewer pass, right? It's a viewer pass. So unless you're prophesizing that you're going to get 33% extra people buying a viewer pass because you've added 8 teams, then every team is going to lose that money. and this was something that we raised like a year ago when the first rumors started coming out, is like, hey, this is going to just like add more people to the pot, but it's going to reduce, everyone's going to get less because they're not going to drive the same, like adding 8 extra teams is not going to add 33% extra viewers who are then going to also purchase a viewer pass. So I think all teams are going to lose out on that, except obviously the 8 extra teams. And I just want to clarify that like having more teams be sustainable is good as long as they invest it in the right way. Like that's a good thing, but constantly forcing teams to readjust their budgets on the fly because Valve makes a decision that costs us all money that wasn't factored into something and we can't plan for and we have no input over is annoying as fuck. It's fucking annoying. Yeah, it's just annoying. Nothing we can do about it. I hope that the souvenirs have the charms or whatever it is that helps drive some more sales and things can change. I'm glad that the stickers are quite unique this time and they actually like look good compared to just like they have some character to them. They aren't just like blank sticker logo, whatever. So, there are good signs there. But yeah, I definitely remain skeptical right now. Like I feel like Valve needs to change something about how they are monetizing majors, because if it keeps going the way it's going, like general interest and sales seem to be decreasing, which is not a good thing. So yeah, I think there's going to have to be some changes eventually, but I don't necessarily think it's that. I don't necessarily think Valve have that much of an incentive to change it, because I'm assuming they probably get a higher profit margin from their normal sales, than their normal sticker sales and everything else, because they don't have to share it with all these teams. They only share it with the creators. So yeah, I have a feeling it's not the biggest priority for them, and they're still like, hey, if every team walks away with $500,000 per major, like we've done our part. But that $500,000 used to be more than that, and for a lot of teams that's damaging. So it's a double-edged sword really, because having more teams earning $500,000 when they weren't before is a good thing. Like it's a good thing for the ecosystem, but it's also challenging to try and grow something when there's no changes and things aren't progressing. So yeah, we will see. We're monitoring the numbers, we always do, and we will see how it goes. Why was Shanghai so bad though? I think there's 2 reasons. I think the fact that the major was not... Okay, so I'm going to preface this with saying I think that majors should be hosted all around the world. I think that Australia deserves a major. I don't give a fuck about the time zone being like shit. I think they deserve a major. I think China obviously deserved a major. I'll put that out there. But I think that Shanghai was bad because of 2 reasons. One, I think the stickers just weren't that exciting for 2 reasons. One, because they removed all the signature... they removed all the exciting signatures, if that makes sense, because of forcing the teams to sign them in person, because some teams were abusing the signatures by basically like using copyrighted fonts, getting them highly designed, everything else, which is just dumb. So some players basically cost, I think, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of sticker sales by doing that. And I also think that the fact that they were like borderless again, like very similar to the ones from the previous majors, just meant that people weren't that interested. And I think that the time zone for the major being in Asia basically meant that a lot of people weren't super invested into watching it because they couldn't, for example. And I think that just drove less interest in the major, and driving less interest in the major just means less people are willing to go and buy a souvenir token or a sticker or something like that. So, yeah, I think that about covers it, really. I haven't seen any more questions come through. So, yeah, I mean, I can see this isn't a question, but indirect way to try and give more dollars and incentivize being in that top 16 as a side above ERS. I mean, I'm going to be honest, there is no shortage of of being in the top 16 for VRS. Like, being in the top 16 is like the golden goose of the industry right now. Like, if you're in top 16, you get access to pretty much everything outside of, let's think, outside of Blast Rivals, which is like top 4 plus wildcards, which will get changed for next year before Finn jumps in and says that it doesn't meet the TOR. And Blast Open, which does 12. I think apart from that, like, every event is like just top 16, just like pure top 16 invites. Okay, Esports World Cup is top 15, but yeah, like Fisher Playground top 16, Starladder is top 20. No, Starladder's top 16 as well with 4 qualifiers. Pro League is top 15 now. Yeah, Pro League's top 15. CAC is top 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck knows how many that is. CAC is top 12. Thunderpick is top, I don't remember, top 12 again, I think. Belgrade is top 16. Chengdu is not top 16, but like top 12 plus 2 Americas plus 2 Europe plus 2 Asia. Sky Sports Masters is top 16 again, I think, as well. Like, they're all basically like top 16. Like, there is absolutely no reason to further incentivize the top 16 teams in the VRS. Absolutely no reason. Like, just to clarify, like on July 7th, I think it's July 7th. Yeah, on July 7th, the top 12 teams in the world will get invited to 6 events immediately. 6 events. Which is basically every event from August to mid-October. They will get every single invite. So every single event from, like, if they all accepted, every single event would have those same 12 teams. Yeah. Ridiculous. Like, crazy stuff, to be honest. Like, the fact that, yeah, as Mischief says, due to clustering, the ranking stays pretty stagnant. Yeah, I mean, even if you have like one big event win, like we did, you know, we had not a big event win, but we had like Yala Compass into Bucharest, and we finished top 4 at Bucharest, and that threw us up the rankings, and we did like, I think we got to like top 13 or top 12, but because there was no ranking invites on those months, we didn't gain anything from it. Like, we got one invite to Fisher, and like, yes, we got Fisher, and we have Cologne, and we have Bounty for next year, for next season, but they all play out after that July 7th update, so they're essentially worthless. like there's so little events that are going to be valuable on like the August update. The August update, I think it's Thunderpick runs off the August update. Yeah, Thunderpick runs off the August update. And that's it. So Thunderpick runs off the August update. Belgrade runs off the September update. But then that includes like Esports World Cup, which we can't qualify for. And it includes, I think it even includes, yeah, it also includes Blast Open Fall, which we can't qualify for. So there's a good chance that even if we do well at the first events we play, other teams will just leapfrog us again by the time it becomes relevant. Blast Rivals Fall uses October, but again, like, we're not going to play all the events in September and August. We're not going to play. So by the time that are, like, even if we do really good at like Cologne and Blast Bounty Fall and Fisher Playground, like if we do really good and get like, you know, top 8s and things like that, our ranking is going to drop so far by the time the next set of relevant invites comes out that it's not going to be worth it. So yeah, there's a lot of issues right now where, I mean, specifically around that July update, basically, like some of these events that are like in mid-October that are inviting, like, I mean, Pro League starts on September 27th, and they're using a July ranking update. So they have all of July, all of August, and pretty much all of September to do logistics. That's 3 months to book 12 teams' flights. Doesn't make sense. Starladder is the same. Starladder is September 13th. Like, if they just use the August update, they'd have 5 weeks, 6 weeks to book flights. Yeah. It doesn't make much sense, but it is what it is. Nothing we can do about it now. I hope Valve does some kind of limit on it, but yeah, there's definitely some interesting invite dates out there for sure, and clustering so many of them on July is just annoying, but it's something we have to deal with. My cough is coming back like crazy. Hold on. I've basically had this cough for like 3 weeks now. It's pretty crazy. So that's a really good point. Overlapping tournaments next year, forcing tier 1 TOs to invite lower ranked teams. Yes, in a weird way, that's actually really good. It's actually really, really good for getting like teams to rotate. Like, I actually think this year, without the PGL events, I think this year would have been a disaster. Like, honestly, the PGL events allowed so many teams to start playing who wouldn't normally be able to play, just because so many of the top teams, for whatever reason you choose, decided they didn't want to play them. So, yeah. And also they ran qualifiers for 2 of them, which was good. The qualifiers are gone now, so we will see what happens. It's also worth noting that from next year, all events have to invite 20 teams. All tier 1 events. So all the major events, or the big events, not majors, they all have to invite 20 teams, which means they could do 2 things. They can either extend their main event to make it bigger, or at least parts of their event to make it bigger, or they have to run qualifiers for some of the slots and invite teams to the qualifiers, which would be how you get around it. So, yeah, hopefully next year with the bigger events, that will force, one, it will force some format changes in some cases, which should be good. 2, it will force either bigger events or qualifiers where currently, like, for example, I think, and this isn't calling PGL out, but like their format is the good example of like just 16 teams with just pure invites from the global ranking. Like, that won't work next year. They'd either have to do a 20 team event, which means like splitting things up, or just inviting 4 extra teams, or figuring out a new format, whatever they want to do, or they have to do qualifiers. And let's say they wanted to do, sorry about that. Let's say they wanted to do a 16 team event still, then they could do 12 global invites, and then they could do like 2 invites from each region or something as the qualifiers. But realistically, they'd have to do more, so they would end up doing more invites and things like that. So yeah, we will see how they all figure it out, how to run their events next year. It will be interesting, and that will be a benefit at least going into next year. So things will change and things will adapt, and I think Valve will come out with some changes to a lot of things next year that will definitely change how things are going. Whether it will improve them, I don't know. Improvement is I don't know how to say. It's hard to know how things will improve until you see them in action, which is generally how Valve have sort of proceeded in the past. Like, they like to see how things work and then iterate rather than guess how things will work and change things based on sort of hearsay. So yeah, I think that about covers it really. We're sort of come to a natural conclusion. It's 10:36 here in Copenhagen. Oh, not Copenhagen. It's 10:36 here in Denmark, at least. And that's getting not pretty late for me, but you know, when you've got 2 kids that like to wake up at 6 a.m., it's pretty late. So I'm gonna sign off because I haven't seen any more big questions in the past few minutes. I am flying to Austin in a few days, so I will be stateside by the weekend, which I'm excited to do. I'm looking forward to getting myself some of that Texas barbecue. I'm actually quite lucky. I've already been to this area of Austin before because it's right next to where they hosted the old DreamHack Austins, like the DreamHack Open events. So I already know the area quite well from staying there before, which is nice. So I know where the barbecue place is already, which is excellent for me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting through the border and officially getting stateside. I think that's the biggest thing that people are going to slip up on. Like, people seem to think that getting a visa is the tough part of getting into the US. I think actually getting through the border itself is going to be a tough thing for a few teams. I wouldn't be surprised if some teams have some issues getting players through the border. I doubt we'll ever hear about them, but I'm sure there'll be some problems. Anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. We will do the next show from Austin next week. I don't know if we'll do the exact same time. Is it a 2 p.m. start time I usually do? 2 p.m., right? So 2 p.m. next week, Wednesday, will be maybe okay. It'll be in the middle of there'll either be a best of 3 that day if we go 0-2 or 2-0, or there'll be a single best of 1 that day, somewhere around that time. So we will just say we will do the show. I don't know what the schedule's going to work out like. We will either do it before we play or after we play. Either way, we can recap the 2 games from the day before and preview the current game, or we can review the day and preview the next day. So we will figure it out from there. I don't know if we'll have any of the players come and join me. That will depend a lot on our schedule and how things are working out. But for now, I will see you guys next week for week 12, and we will prepare a proper VRS dive into what we try to look at this week, with a bit more prepared data and up-to-date data from this week's update or next week's update, and go from there. So thank you very much for tuning in and sticking with me. It was quite fun to do the pick'ems. Congratulations to Vitality for winning the Blast Austin Major 2025. I'll just say it now, get out of the way. Yeah. Have a good night if you're in Europe. Have a great afternoon and evening if you are in the United States of America or on that time zone. If you're in Canada, Mexico, I appreciate you guys too. If you're in Brazil, Argentina, Argentina don't really like me right now. I'm going on another podcast this week. Not sure when that's going to be released, but that one is going to be focusing on the Bestia situation and the Bestia legacy thing, and mostly Bestia. So I didn't talk about that today because that will be covered in the other one, and I'll have someone else to deflect all the abuse to on that one, so it won't be just aimed at me, which is better for me. Let's see, if I go to this one, there we go. No, that way. Shop.col.gg. You can grab yourself the USA flag complexity logo. You can also get yourself, do you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do it again. Where are we? You can also get yourself a genuine 2025 complexity player jersey with logo. I don't know how long this is going to last. I think Jason's in the chat, so maybe he's going to hate me for this, but I think Jason might finally be done with this logo after seeing how it worked on the stickers this time, because it ended up so tiny because of the aspect ratio. Because it's so wide, it gets just squished and it looks so small on the stickers. So this might be the final time that we have this logo. I'm putting Jason under the bus, but I feel like I feel like he feels the same way too. So I feel pretty confident I can do that. So this might be a legacy item again. You can also get the non USA logo. See, look at that. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Woohoo! So shop.col.gg, up that way. You can go do that. You can also head over and I could have sworn there's a Discord one. Discord.gg/complexity. I'm pretty sure that takes you to our Discord. I'm always in the Counter-Strike chat. You can talk to me pretty much every day of the week, every hour of the day, because I have no life and I live and breathe this this community and this team. So yeah, head over to the Discord if you want to chat with me outside of the podcast hours. I'm pretty much always there. And yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful evening, day, morning, night, wherever you are. Enjoy your breakfast. Make sure you say hi to your family and friends. And we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye for now.